Hi, Sheila Guffey again with Creative Aging. So as you can see, behind right here are projects that we've done together in videos and in person. And I know in the early days last year of when we started these videos, I didn't want to overwhelm anyone that didn't have supplies. So I really just focused on doing clay. And since most of you had some Sculpey white clay, we just did that. But I've been asked by several people to paint these white clay pieces we've done in the past. And so that's what we're going to do today. And you can pick, we definitely did our little owls. So, and if you want to keep your owl white, there's even a white paint option. So, you don't have to do all colorful. Here's one of them painted. But it is nice. The paint does bring out some of your little design work. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to get close enough and move it around. So see how this metallic paint, it really does show off all of the design. So it is nice to do paint. And so here's another option. This little owl is a little flatter because it was going to be a magnet. And so some of them were standing. Oh, I have a message on this one. Some of them are meant to stand or be ornaments, and then some were magnets. So as you can see, there's the color options. Now, you can also do the flower we've done together, or we did a fish a long time ago. So if you want to bring those out and work on them, that's fine too. We also did the llama. And I don't have that to show right now. I gave my little llama away. So if you want to go back and do the llama and then paint it, you can do it. It's whatever you want to do with me in this video. And let me show you the paints we're going to use. Now, not all paints are going to work on the Sculpey polymer clay. And so you can't just go and get any acrylic paint. Unfortunately, Sculpey was very smart, where they make you buy their brand of things. So this is one option, and the jar is really sad. You can tell it's been in my box of teaching. But this is, if you do use your own acrylic paint and not this brand I'm going to show you over here, then you have to have a Sculpey gloss. Okay, so that is the only way you can use just any acrylic paint in your house. You have to paint it, and then afterwards, once it's dry, you have to use the Sculpey gloss to go on top. If you do not use this, then over the next couple days after you paint your project, it gets sticky. And sadly, I did this with a class and I did not know, and I got call after call of people's jewelry that became sticky. So the acrylic paints can react strangely to your polymer clay, but these paints do not. These paints are amazing. So this is the brand. It's called Lumiere, and these are light body metallic acrylics, and they are super shimmery, but they don't come with a lot of colors. So this is a package, and as you can see, it's limited on colors. But these are the only paints that I found that they work on polymer clay, and you don't have to do any kind of sealant or anything on top of them. And I think it's just because they're so light and thin, it reacts better to this clay once it's hardened. So if you want to buy these paints, do it. They will last you forever. As you can see, I'm going to show you how a little goes a long way. And so let's paint our cute little owl. And let me think of what color I want to paint him. So, like I said, you don't need a ton of this paint. So I'm going to get a little bit of the gray. And I've got cardboard down. So I'm just going to paint, and I'm going to use this as my paper instead of a paper plate. It's just going to be small, so I'm going to use it for everything. And these are brand new, so as you can see, the tiniest little dot of paint. This will go a long way. And so if you are an activities director and you bought the package, by the way, the package looks like this. It is expensive. It's $14.99 just for these little tiny plates. So I'm going to tell you, do not let residents just grab these paints and squeeze their own, because they will squeeze the biggest glob and it will go to waste. You don't need that much. So if you live in a place and an activities director buys these, then please be sure to keep them, and you only be the one that gives the paint out. People don't realize how much they squeeze out and then they just waste it. And I know these are not cheap. And people, I know it's just not like normal paint, so you don't understand how far it goes until you use it. So I'm going to get a little more gold. And I love this pearl. It is so pretty. So we're definitely going to use that. And I'm going to make it, I want to make sure you see it. So let me see. Put it right here. And that, sometimes it does get clogged up and it will come out a little bit more than you wanted. But that's okay, because I actually wanted to use the pearl the most, because I like these white. I really do. I don't want to cover the whole thing. Okay, so be really mindful, have a plan before you start. And I'm completely going to admit that I did not have a plan. So I'm planning in my brain right now. So I think I'm going to I want the chest to be white. So I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to use this brush. So I have a few brushes here. They're all point brushes. I have a small, medium, and large. I don't have water. I'm gonna use the same brush on a few things. I don't want any water on this, because water, it just won't work well with this clay. So I'm using just the paint. I'm gonna go right underneath, and I want these little feathers underneath to be fluffy and white. So I think that's a good starting point. And plus, it's good to work lighter, because then you can really get used to how much paint you need. I don't want you to use too much paint, because it's going to cover up some of the detail. So see right there, it covered up some of the detail. I'm going to move that paint out of the way. And I want all of your marks to be shown. I do not want paint to cover and fill them. So that's another reason you don't want a lot of paint. See how it automatically went into the marks and filled them up? So I'm moving it out. So I'm pushing it and moving it the other direction. So be very careful. You did all of this beautiful sculpting and work with your tools, and you don't want to cover it up, because that's the interesting part. You want these paints to accent and complement your cool design, not cover it up. So I want this to be a thin layer, and I know it's kind of hard to see. You'll see it better once we get another color on it. All right, so see how I'm moving some of that paint out still. So you just want the very thinnest layer, and it is going to be shimmery. I hope you can see it in this light. Trying really hard. There you go. I think you can see it right there in that light. So it just adds a little shimmer. So it's still white. It doesn't add color really. It's just a metallic. And I'm going to use the same brush, because this white mixed with that dark gray is not going to matter. So let's use the same brush, and let's get some dark gray. And let's maybe do the dark gray. Let's do the dark gray. Let's do it on the wings. And so I'm using, now notice how I'm using the brush. I am not pushing all the way down. Okay, I'm not doing that. That's messy, and you're not going to have good control over this brush. I'm using just the tip of the brush, and I'm being very slow and mindful of the direction of my design. You cannot take these paints away. It will ruin your pretty little sculpture. So you really do need to have a good plan before you do this, or you can ruin the whole thing. And if you paint, there aren't a lot of colors of these paints. So if I don't like this gray, there's nothing I can really do to cover it up other than maybe mix it with purple, which I don't even know how good that's going to look because the gray is going to be so much darker. So you just kind of have to make it work with you. So especially with the dark colors, really know what you're doing. Okay, let's do the other side. And so I'm not even doing the back yet because I want to make sure that this is the route I want to go. So right here, so see how I have the wing separate? I want to take it and slowly go around to where it gets all the edges. And the same thing, make sure that paint does not get stuck in any of your marks. So I want you to paint it and keep moving that paint until it's just the tiniest, the thinnest layer, not tiny, just a thin layer. And you need to go the direction of your lines too. So if I go like this, I'm gonna fill in all of my design. If I go the direction, I'm going to pull that paint out of it. So you want to go the direction of however you drew in your owl. Okay, so you'll be able to see it better back here. So I've got a lot of V's. It is so hard to see the white on this video. I can see it. It's hard. Hopefully you can see the lines I've done. It's kind of it's like upside down V's all the way through. I'm going to go the same direction as I'm painting. So they are up and down. I'm going to paint up and down. And notice, see the tiniest little dot of the gray? It is still working. I don't even need any more. So the tiniest dot goes a long way. And I am moving my brush because I want it to fill. I don't want there to be, some of these drawing sections that I did, some are deeper than the others. So you kind of have to get in there and move your brush and then move it out. So you fill it in with paint and then you move that paint out and go over it a few times. And I'm going to do the bottom because I wrote on it. I wrote a message. I was going to give it to somebody for their birthday just as like a cute little ornament that goes on the outside of the package. And then I chose a different one. So that's what my message was. It said, happy birthday. It was for being wise and having another year. All right, so I'm covering that up so you don't have to look at it anymore. Okay, so we have this so far. Let me turn it around. Now let's see what other color we want. We can do the whole thing. We could do the face dark gray too. We might add dark gray in the chest because it might be weird to have we might do every other one. But I really just want you to see these colors. So I'm going a little against what I would do if I was by myself. Let's do this face. Let's do some gold. I want you to see the gold. I'll start with, hold on, sorry, I'm thinking. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the eyes gold or if I want to do the face gold. Let me do the eyes gold. So this part, I already have it on my tiny brush. I want you to go in and just go around. And I realize this brush isn't good. For some reason, this brush is stiff. I'm going to switch brushes in a minute. Let me just switch. That brush was not a good one. Same thing. Make sure you spread that out. All right, I already changed my mind. I'm going to do the whole head gold. All right, and so the marks up here are all directions. So I'm kind of moving my brush in circular motion and I'm tapping it because I want it to get in every single little groove that I made. But I'm also moving in circles to get that extra paint out. And this is where it gets kind of tricky. You might need to let sections dry because you kind of have to hold it. And if you don't have yours as an ornament, like I'm holding it from the top right now, you can hold it from the bottom. Like I normally don't paint the very bottom till the end. So, if you have to, this is almost already dry. You could just hold it down here. Yeah, it's amazing. This stuff is great. It dries really fast too, so I can hold it down there. That's going to be easier. Because you don't want to feel rushed. And I'm probably going to change this. I don't like the gray and the gold already. I just don't like it at all. All right, let's go. I'm going to move this. I'm going to at least make it a straight line so I can figure out if I like this or not. I'm either going to paint the chest gold or add gold in it, or I'm just going to paint over the gray. I'm not sure yet. And if you have your ribbon already on yours, if yours is an ornament, a lot of people made theirs standing, so the ornament was an extra. But make sure to go around it very carefully. So see how I'm tapping? And then I'm moving it around. So I'm tapping, and then anywhere I see the paint getting stuck in my cool little marks, and I'm moving it out. All right. That's how it's looking right now. So let's figure out if we want to do the whole thing down here gold, or do you like all the gray? Because we can do the whole owl gold and then do the eyes dark gray. Few options here. So, and we can even, well, I've got plenty of the gold out already. We'll do the pink on top layer. I'll show you what the pink looks like. So let's just add a few little gold marks. So I'm not going to do it all yet. I'm just going to see how this looks. So you can let your white kind of shine through and just add some marks. You can even add some gold. So let's get some gold on a brush and tap it away. Let's add some gold throughout the silver. The silver, it's a little intense. I feel like the whole thing should have been silver. I really just wanted to show you different colors because it's too easy to just paint the whole thing one color. So I'm just adding gold on top, and I'm doing the pattern, you know, similar to what I already have in there. And so remember, I'm not using a lot of paint. So I'm just adding accents. And it's such a thin layer, I can touch it and it's not going to smear. So I'm moving it around with my hand, but it's because there's not that much paint on it. It's fine. If you have too much paint, though, it's going to be a mess. The way I'm doing it, it's kind of like a stain almost. Okay, so let's go ahead and, let's see. Let's go ahead and do this all gold, the chest. I think that'll look better. So I'm covering the white. And okay, I'm going to leave some of the white, I think. I'm just going to go and over and go downward because the marks that I did white were side by side. I mean, this way. So let me see how it looks, and then maybe we'll leave it. Figure out what color you want to do the beak. We could do it gray. We already have gray, or we can try one of these other colors. I'm going to show you this kind of pink gold. There you go. Tiny bit. And I'm using the same brush. Now this is very similar to the gold, but it's just got a hint of pink in it. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to go and use this tiny brush. I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to use a lot of this white, and I'll do the eyes white. So go on in the eyes. Let's paint the whole thing white, and then we might add some gray. And I'm going around, and I don't mind it getting on the outside a little bit because it actually looks more like an owl anyway with bigger eyes. So I got too much in there. I don't know if you can see. So see, I want to go in again and make sure to pull that out. And so go in there and just make sure it didn't get caught in your design. And then I'm going to go around it again to make it even bigger. And you can even go around the outside if you want to just make it a little lighter. One good thing is working with these limited colors, you kind of have to figure out how to make it work because you don't have all the colors that you would normally want. And I'm going to play a little bit more. I just don't want this to be all one color. So I'm going to use my white on top of the gold and see if maybe I can make it look fluffy. So I purposely did not plan this out before I did the video so that we could have the process together. Normally I would have this example done and I would have already done it by myself before I shoot the video, but I just want you guys to know that it is a process. It takes a while. You kind of have to think through everything. And so I figured we'd do this all together today. Because we make mistakes. We have to, it's all trial and error. You have to figure out what looks good. And if it doesn't look good, you have to replan, do it over, or add to it until you like it. Just like this. Okay. It's looking better. Let's do some more white. I'm going to add white in the body too. Just a little bit. Because then it'd be 3 colors. So this would just add a little bit more shimmer. And then I can really bring out some of these triangles that I made in the hair. Hair, fur, what do you call it? Feathers, there we go. Sorry, painting and talking sometimes is hard. So I'm just going through and I'm adding just a little bit of this gloss just to bring out more of what I already did. Because you don't want to cover up your work. You want this paint to accent it. See right there, I'm just adding it right on that triangle. And then I'm going to go add it right there. Makes it just a little more interesting to have multiple colors. And I'll show you my other examples. I have not done this before with these paints where I'm adding multiple colors in the feathers. So this is new, but I like it so far. It's fun. And isn't it amazing how long these paints have lasted? Like just the tiniest little dollop has pretty much lasted the entire project. Like they're amazing. I just discovered these paints too last year. Okay, let's check it out. Turn it around. So can you see all the colors? Let's add dark. I need some more, a little bit more of this dark gray. I'm gonna add in the middle of the eye. I don't need much. I'm just gonna, tiniest little dot right there. Can you even see that little dot? I'm gonna use my bad brush because honestly, it's good that it's stiff. So for this part, it's fine. And just do a tiny dot in the eye. Kind of pulled it all together, didn't it? And if you want, where there's kind of feet, you can go back in and add the dark in between. And I'm gonna add some gold on the bottom because I added gold throughout the body. So not that anyone will see the bottom, but you know, it's nice to have it all finished and polished. Okay, so at this point, figure out if you want any other color. Now we do have that pink gold right here. If you wanted to add that anywhere, we could add it around the eye maybe. I mean, let's try it. You can add dots of it around the eye. One good thing is if you don't like it, it's so close to the other gold, you just paint over it again. Just make sure not to mess up your pretty eye because you got the white and the gray in there now. I mean, of course, you're probably doing your own colors at home. So I'm just saying the eye is the hardest part because it's so tiny that once you get it, just be careful. Okay, see if you like that. You can even add more. So after you like it, if you wanted to add more and exaggerate it, then go ahead and do that. If you don't like it, cover it up with that gold again or the white. We also have a purple. If you want a funky owl, we have purple. Okay, so that didn't add a huge difference, but it did bring out the eyes more. So let me hold it still so you can really look and see how this little guy's coming along. So let me turn it around again. Completely changed the look of it from how we started in the beginning. So now it's going to be up to you if you want to add any more white. If you decided maybe you liked the white chest, you can go ahead and add it back in. Obviously at this point, I'm just painting to show you guys technique. So let me just do it just to show you. So if you decided you like the white more than the gold, then we'll just go back, add it back in. And I had extra white anyways. You can't really put these back in the tube, so you have to use it. I usually recycle my paint back in the tube, but can't do it with these little things. So you might as well play and use it. Okay, there it is. Got more of a white chest now. You know, if you want more white in the feathers, you can add more. And if you want to add, say you want to leave the outside more the pinky gold and you want to add white dots to the top, let's try it. Let's add white dots all over the top of the head and don't do it around the eyes because we're going to leave that like a ring. And remember, we just have this white extra, so we're just using it because it's going to be thrown away anyways. And if you don't like this, just paint over it the darker color. It's not a big deal. Now, I would not do this with the dark gray unless you know you want it. But this is good to just force yourself to get out of your comfort zone and just keep working on it until you love it. If you don't love it, you're not finished. Don't just kind of half like it. There's no point. Nobody has, you shouldn't keep all this stuff around if you're not in love with it. Just waste space. So keep working on it until you love it. I'm going to get right there, little dots. One good thing is the texturing of the paint kind of brings out the design anyway. So, okay, there we go. So that changed it quite a bit. Decide if you like it or not. Keep adding or let it dry for a minute. So as you can see, I'm getting my fingers a mess. Let me show you the other ones now that you know how this paint works. This one, and there is a light gold that you can use. This set does have a light gold. So it's got the dark gold and the light gold. The light gold is in one of my other project bags because I use that light gold a lot. So it does come with a light gold and then all these other colors you see. So this one is just the dark gold and the light gold, and then a little bit of the gray and a little bit of the pearl in the eyes. Okay, so that one's, this is exactly how it's gonna look. That's the paint. And then this one, use the purple. So that's the purple and the light gold. And a little bit of the white in the middle of the eyes and the little gray in the middle. And so you can see I kept adding to it. See, it was the white. I did it all purple, and then I added gold stripes around the eye, and then I added gold dots on the wing, and then I added that dark gold for the nose. But it was the same process. I just kept adding and adding until I liked what I saw. Same with this one, just keep working on it until you're happy. Have fun with these paints. And if this is a perfect time to, really bring out all your projects, and you can practice painting on clay. We don't get to do that too often because we use the pigment, but if you want to, here's another little owl. That definitely, you can tell. Look, it had the dark gold and it had lots of colors. So this one, I didn't like how it was looking and just kept adding to it. It's got the green in there. It's a little wild. But hey, these owls are meant to look kind of funky and wild, so it's fun. Anyways, I know this was a little bit different today. It's just hard to show much painting when we spend a lot of time sculpting. So I just wanted a separate video to give you some options of what else you can do with these projects after you're done. So if you want to go back and rewatch the owls, you can do that. And, go ahead and paint one. You can leave one white and paint one. Anyways, I'll see you next time.